Hello, hello. How are you? So, today, I know it's been a long time since I've streamed. I decided to show you what I have been working on. So, I have been playing Minecraft Sky Factory for a little while now, over a month and a half maybe. And I have been thoroughly enjoying this mod. Now, previously, vanilla Minecraft. Never really had any interest in playing it. I know that's probably blasphemy. But I'm such a huge fan of 7 Days to Die. All I could think was I could be playing 7 Days to Die, and especially when 7 Days to Die first came out, it actually used the same blocky structure that Minecraft uses, and a lot of the features were very Minecraft, including the crafting system. But they have since refined it and made it just a fantastic game. But when I watched some streamers playing this mod for Minecraft, I thought, oh my god, I love this. I have to get it and try it out. So yeah, that has started me down the path to Sky Factory. Now, this is a very, very in-depth mod, and part of the problem I have with researching what's going on in this mod is that most of these tutorial videos, they say they're tutorial, and they're about 30 minutes long, and you have to go through maybe 25 minutes of somebody showing you around before you actually get to what you want to see, and they skip over part of the explanation a lot. A lot. So I don't like doing that. I don't want to call this a tutorial. If I do any sort of tutorials on anything, I'm going to try to cut the videos short and not start it with an intro like this one. So this is just basically my first video. I have done one other video for this that was sort of a help with donut factory automation because I spent hours researching that. And I'm going to probably keep any tutorial videos that I do down to... Uh-oh. There we go. Are we back? I don't know what is going on with this. Let me check my stream real quick. Let me just move around a little, see if it works. I don't know why I always get very low output on my videos. I'm using Relive or Relive or whatever the heck it is on the on my graphics card. Yes, I have AMD. I hate myself for it. Trust me. But anyway, so back to the topic. So researching how to do anything has been very, very difficult. So I'm putting the question out there to you. What do you want to see? And I'm going to give you just a quick tour and show you a lot of the different things that I've been working on, and you can see if there's anything you want. I think I decided today I would talk a little bit about the whole refined storage mod, because this is actually a collection of 197 different mods. And refined storage has to be one of my favorite ones. So, but real quick, again, like I said, this is probably going to be my only tour. I'm going to give you the tour of the place. This is our original base. You can see it is not very pretty or well organized or anything like that. It was efficient, and it got the job done, but that's about it. So let's take a little look here. We're going to start off with the chicken farm. So if you pull up the achievement book, let me see if I can find one, because I don't happen to have mine anymore. Here it is. You can see there's a list of achievements to go through, and these don't get checked off. You have to check them off yourself. So one of the achievements here is, one of the first ones is to build... Okay, I can't find it now. It's here it is. Make a grassy field 25 blocks away from your base for spawning animals. So that's what we have over here with our little chicken farm. So I'm going to come on over. This was 25 originally from our original starting area. And you can see I have a ton of very pretty chickens. Now these chickens are special. They produce the materials that I have listed here. You can see I put labels on all of them. simply for the breeding program. So out there are some wonderful charts and explanations of what needs to be bred with what to get these chickens. Now your starter chickens, I think it's these guys here: flint, sand, log, nether, string. Was it glowstone one? No, I'm sorry, it's not string. Sand, flint, and chicken. Sand, flint, and log, I believe, are your starter ones. Um, Maybe these guys too. Lapis. Let's say it was bone white, yellow, lapis, green maybe? Red? Yeah, red, black. Yeah. Alright, these guys are your starters for the colors. So, what you do is to make these eggs. Let's pull up eggs here. Egg. That'd be more helpful. You can see there's, oh, okay, so some of these other colors too are starter ones. You can see here, you take a regular egg and you put dye around it, and then you get a magenta chicken egg, or a bone white egg, or a log chicken egg. Let me see if I can't find the log chicken. It's buried in here somewhere. But in essence, the starter eggs are all eggs that can be crafted. Now, after this point, you can't craft the eggs. You have to breed certain chickens together by putting them in coops next to each other. And you have a small chance to get an egg of a new type. And it's very specific chickens that have to be bred together. And then you have your new type of chicken, and that one can breed with other ones and make another type of chicken. So over here I had my little breeding pens to kind of keep everything sorted and organized. And I have a very complicated storage system hooked up to it because I was getting a lot of trash. So I really didn't need that many feathers. I didn't need that many eggs, honestly. I just needed the eggs that were slightly different, which is why I have breeding pens here, because you can see, or maybe you can't, there's boxes right here under the pens. And I've got the flat transfer discs on them, and anything that the chickens would produce would pop into those boxes. So this one, if I'm making a new type of chicken, or I happen to need a spare egg, they pop into here. So, and then I originally had just the transfer pipes leading it into boxes, and then I was sorting it from there. But you can see I have a lot of these absolutely wonderful trash chests. I highly recommend using these. You can see here, trash chest is pretty easy to make. It needs a trash can, easy peasy. Not anything terrible to make. Excuse me, I'm sorry, my nose is clogged here. So you can see I have one of every chicken here. And this gave me, oh, okay, I don't have a sulfur chicken for some reason. I think I just said meh and didn't make it. But this took me forever to breed all the chickens and get the eggs and get everybody in their little pens and just make sure I had my bases covered. And you can see over here, come down here to this computer, which is full. You can see all the stuff that they're producing for me. So I've got lots of stuff. This is really nice. This is a good way early on to get the materials you need. Look at this. Look at the googly eyes. Oh, is he dead? No, hi. There you go. Get all the materials you need. So I would say start working on your chickens right away, because the chickens are going to lead up to some other really cool stuff. So let's talk about, I'm sure all of you have your spawner rooms where you're spawning enemies and they're being killed. And that's perfect. But you can see here, like that Enderman that popped out, this here is far too close to our base. Enderman can jump within 32 spaces. So you can probably see in the background something out over here. I took 38 or 40 dirt blocks, and I measured out to this place over here. Now this, I think it's turned to the wrong thing, is my Enderman spawner. So this was how I was getting my Enderman eyes, or Ender eyes, excuse me, was this little area here. So from the research I did, I found out that, because I never played vanilla Minecraft, so I had to learn a lot here, that, you know, like I said, the Enderman can jump up to 32 blocks or meters, because each block is assumed to be a meter. And they need a 3 high space, so you can see my little workspace here is only 2 high to keep them from jumping in. And they aren't really going to jump into water, so I have spikes around the edges in case one of them does manage to spawn up here on the edges. And I didn't want my water just running off the edge, so there's spikes, and it's filled with water right here. And right here in my little alcove above the work area. And I have never had an Enderman spawn outside of the cage. It works beautifully. You can see I've got item hoppers here, or excuse me, item collectors. You see this box, this crate is totally full of eyes. And then, because I didn't want to waste all my stuff, I have loot baggies here too. So, and I have a auto compressor that does sometimes need some manual cleaning up, compressing all my bags into the legendary loot bags. So we're getting some good loot off of these guys here. Now let me show you something else here that I set up with this spawner. So you can see we had the original stone spikes in there, but once we started getting more materials, I threw in some iron spikes, and that's because you can use this guy here, this Absorption Hopper, and you see I can tell it to put the items out in the fluid, or excuse me, put the fluid out to the south and then items out to the north. So items come into here, and then fluid comes into here, and the fluid is liquid XP. So it's a really nice thing to get yourself with some nice liquid XP, especially when you get into enchanting or other things that require XP from you. It can go pretty fast. So now this whole area over here is powered by one of these lovely reactors. This is from Extreme Reactors. So if I pull this up, if you do @ and then the name of the mod that you're looking for, you'll get everything listed in this area. So this is basically run on Yellorium, and it's a relatively easy reactor to build. Our original reactor was much smaller. It was 5 by 5 and about this height, but our power needs just kept going up and up and up and up. And I originally didn't have, I had water fluid in there cooling it. You can see in here these $signs. That's not some fancy decoration. That's Manny Lauren. I think that's how you say it. Manny Lauren. Yeah. Manny Yorlin? Yeah, whatever. Manny something. Manny blocks. I got Manny blocks. So I had limited space here because I was working with other people and we already had things set up and they didn't want their areas taken apart, which I can completely understand. So I just went straight down, and you can see this is a very massive reactor, and it puts out pretty good power. It's enough for what I use. Like my Enderman spawner, I had to lower the amount of power it was taking in because it was draining for a while. Which you can see, that's decent, 69.2. It's not going to be a massive amount of power, but it's good. It usually takes care of all of our needs. So over here is another type of reactor that I believe is also Oh no, this isn't advanced generators. So this guy here, it doesn't put out the same RF as the other reactor does. This one, for the cost and for the effort, it's worth it to try to build this. There are many different types of ways to get power in this game, but this one I like. It's easy and simple. So yeah, I would highly recommend it. Now, I'm gonna, let's see, is there anything else I want to show you? Oh, milk tank. Look at this. Yep, that is pure milk. So, I don't really have a use for milk. I don't know why I did this. I decided to just go with it for the hell of it, and I made a giant milk tank and filled it with milk. I've got a, right here, I've got a mechanical user getting buckets of milk from the cow in the jar, putting it into the dispenser, filling this fluid tank, and then the fluid tank is dumping it, as you can see here, what the sides are configured as. The fluid tank is dumping the milk into this giant, what is this thing called? It's not a smeltery. Just a fluid tank, I guess. And then over here, I did another system, and this is something I also want to talk about. This is a cloche, and it's making milk over here from cow essence and buckets, and doing basically the same thing, putting the buckets in, getting them back out of the fluid tank, and making milk for me. But it is definitely full. And here we have another trash chest that's throwing away seeds, and there was some other garbage I happened to throw in there. Oh no! What happened here? I have no idea. Let's grab a dirt block and fix that. Where is my dirt? Dirt. I want regular dirt. I want fancy. Ah, there we go. Regular dirt, not fancy dirt. There. There we go. Alright, so me being me, I have a lot more time to play than everybody else does, so I felt a little bad, and I've built myself a castle out in the distance, which I'm going to take you to. It's organized a little bit better than this, so I like to show you that eventually. But I'm going to show you what I've got over here. Is my glorious wither spawner. And this next to it has got, and they're probably all dead by now, but it had some, yeah, they are, some sentient swords in there for blood magic stuff. So here we go. This is the wither spawner that I created, and it is going to automatically kill withers for me. You can see here it's dropping them in, and we're just going to sit back and watch. So it's going to take a minute before they actually start dying, because, you know, the withers spawn in and they take a few to be killable. And you can see I've got these mufflers over here to keep me from getting spammed by the names of the ones dying, and from keeping it from being super duper loud. And this is producing tons of nether stars for me. So these explosions are kind of rough. It's actually hard for me to get to the lever here. We're going to go ahead and turn it off and just let those guys finish dying. And I just throw that on anytime I need some nether stars. Alright, so back here we have Patania! So this is where I have the Patania Mod, which has all kinds of really cool things in it. So you can see there's lots of different magical items that can be made, different rods, different fun things like a cloak of invisibility, the third eye, which I lost during a very stupid death. but it allows you to see mobs through buildings and all kinds of really fun stuff. So, like I said, I'm not going to go too in depth into anything yet, but you can see I've got all kinds of fun things here. This is another one that took me for ages to figure out what I was doing with. And they're feeding into these mana pools and keeping my portal to the Elven world open. Alfheim, I think it is. And then over here, for farming, I have a farming station. So my trees grow. Farming station chops them, although I think it's not doing anything because it's full at the moment. Okay, no it is. And I got a little munch dew over here, who's part of the Patania that eats leaves. Just kind of chilling so he can get some free leaf snacks. Trees might be a bit far from him at the moment, but since I haven't really messed with this at all, I've just been leaving it. And downstairs we have our workroom. That's not Edgar. Edgar somewhere else. This is Edward Cowington III. I've only done a teeny tiny bit of decoration here, and that was these guys too. I did need their ink a few times, so they die every once in a while. But these are my buddies, my squids. And we've got all kinds of different things down here. So a lot of the low-tech stuff is down in this area, and you can see it's not functioning simply because I don't need the items at the moment, so I've been just kind of letting it go. Now, let me come up here. I should have just used one of the elevators and show you my smeltery. Now, my smeltery is empty at the moment, and that is because I realized the other night I've been using my smeltery wrong. So let me go ahead and get some sand and put it in here. Get a couple of stacks, start filling it up. So I need a lot of clear glass for a project I'm working on, and it needs to be this specific clear glass that's made from the smeltery, so this stuff here, because it needs to be dyed. So I have been throwing, oops, I get tabbed out? Whoa, hey, okay. I've been throwing sand in here every so often and getting it out, but this is not a small smeltery. It may look small from up here, but again, it's something else I've sort of built down on. So it's a rather large smeltery, but it just wasn't producing what I needed it to, so or holding enough. And there's other things I could have done to make sure it held more, but what I decided to do is pump all this liquid molten stuff out of the system and put it over here into my refined storage. So you can see I've got all these different types of liquid: molten demon metal, ardite, obsidian, night slime, seared stone, gold. There should be some Manny Lauren, but some Manny. But it's not in there at the moment. So you can see here, this is how I was originally automating it, because I was like, oh man, I can just pull the fluid out, you know, from these here, if you see the faucets, or drains, sorry, and put it into fluid pumps, and then from the, not fluid pumps, fluid tanks, and then from the fluid tanks put it down into these basins or just store it. And there's actually a fluid tank, you can't see it, on the other side of this basin underneath all this. But then I realized, oh, this is kind of a pain in the butt, because if I run out of fluid, then I got a basin that's half full and everything's backed up. You can see this was supposed to be pulling out the Manny, and ended up pulling in some night slime, and now it's just kind of screwed up here. So it's kind of a pain like this. So what I did was I changed it around. Let me come on down here, and all that liquid glass you saw getting pumped out, I got switch here, I can turn it on and off, is coming in here. So if I turn this back on, it's pumping all the molten clear glass into here and then pulling the solid glass out. And I can do this with any material I want. If I want to set up the Tinkerer tool stations with these, I can do that too. And it's just a lot easier. So yeah, I was really proud of myself when I figured that one out. So let's come up here and I'm going to take you to the castle. So my castle's actually quite far away, and originally I'd been using this telepad here, this teleporter, to get myself back and forth to the castle because I'm lazy. I didn't want to fly there every time. But it requires Dew of the Void to function, and that's pain in the butt to make. So I said, there's got to be a better way, and I started looking through all the different things that are out there for teleportation, and there's a lot. So if you look, let's see, teleporter, we've got this one, we have, no, I don't remember what that's called, translocator? Yeah, transmitter, matter transmitter. These required a lot of power. They drained my system before I made the reactor bigger. So I said, okay, what else is out there? And I found out under the Draconic mod was the perfect solution. Wait, where is it? Let me just actually search it under the name. Here we go. Dislocators. And it is under the Draconic Evolution mod. So we have a cool looking portal that requires these draconium infused obsidian blocks, and they do require draconic dust and blaze powder and all that kind of good stuff and lots of obsidian. But you can make these little guys here. These require ender eyes, and you can just hold them in your hand, set a location by shift right clicking, and then you can set them up on these pedestals, and then you can have teleporters to everywhere. And I'm going to actually show you again what if you decide to do the square box. These function exactly the same. This has one of those little dislocator orbs in it, and it's basically going to do the same thing. This one's set to take anything into this witherproof block here. Let me turn on night vision, that might be helpful. So it's really, really cool. But I went ahead and set up portals kind of everywhere right over here. So the beneath was kind of a pain in the butt because it sort of teleports you back to the same coordinates in your world from the other world. Only where our beneath block was, it was teleporting us into a platform, basically. So I used this instead. It's going to take a minute to load. Made one of these. And boom. Teleporting back. It's wonderful. It's incredibly easy to use. Now, this is going to require lots of draconium. That is a pain in the butt to get starting off. Now, the chickens were how we got our original bit of draconium. Yeah, it's not loading. So we had a little bit of draconium that we used in these guys over here, the cloches. The draconium one is not here, it's elsewhere. Let me show you this cloche. So this is a fantastic thing here. So you have a seed in here. These are all off at the moment. A bit of dirt, and it produces 2 items for you, and that's going to be essence. Let me turn this one on for a second. Essence and a seed. And that essence can be turned into solid ingots. It can be turned into a lot of different things for some of these. Like, let me show you here what you can do with some of these essences. So let's see. Actually, I'm going to do this on my computer. Let's go. Oops. I'm actually searching in the wrong place. Let's go mushrooms. So these are kind of a pain to get. But you can turn 2 nature essences and 1 dirt essence into a mushroom. And if we look at our, say, our draconium, let's back out of this. We've got all this draconium essence here. We can do this. Screwed up there. And look at that. We get draconium ingots. And that's going to make your life a lot easier sort of later in the game. But I used to have all these little gravel processors, or, you know, processing gravel, sand, and dust, and I had multiple filters, you know, for each thing to make sure I got all the materials I needed. And, you know, I had compressors compressing some of the ore bits into nuggets, and then I had smelters hooked up smelting each metal, and it was huge and a pain in the butt. So I decided when we got a little bit further along to go ahead and get rid of all that and throw these in. Now there's a couple of things I can't get from these because there's no seed for it, and that's prosperity shards is one of them, and I can't remember what the other one is. So I get these out of the filter processing. Let's see what it. Let me look up a filter here. Filter. No, it's called mesh. My bad. Mesh. So out of these meshes, I can get prosperity shards. I don't remember which one drops them for me. Ah, here we go. You can see here sand. You can get some prosperity shards from an iron stiffened mesh. And is that the only thing that... Let's see, diamond. How about you, diamond? Yeah, diamond gets it out of sand too. And you get all these little pieces of a nugget. And all this junk like the ancient spore seeds and all that kind of good stuff. And I just kind of didn't want to deal with all the junk, and I wanted materials produced in mass quantities. So I went ahead and set up all these, but the prosperity shards, fortunately, we had enough left that I don't really need them anymore. Prosperity shards, let's pull them up. So you can see what they basically make. And they make these infused crystals here, which you need to start upgrading your inferium. And they make, here, this is the other really important thing, base crafting seeds. So the cloche won't take just any old seed to work properly. Oh yeah, base essence, ingots, all that kind of good stuff. So let's take a look at some of these seeds. I think it's mystical agriculture, so let's pull that up. So we're gonna take a look at some of these seeds here. So these are a bit of a pain. You really can't start doing anything with these until you get a good farm of inferium. And I'd say the first seed that you need to make is just one of these tier 1 crafting seeds. It will make you more inferium. And just, if you're going to do a cloche, go ahead and set it up. Get it running. And start making extra inferium for yourself. But you can see some of these seeds here. This one requires supremium, so it's kind of expensive. You have to go all the way down to the base crafting seed that uses the prosperity shards. But that's why I say pretty much I'm done with prosperity shards, and I don't really have to worry about it anymore. I don't have a use for it. So now I'm going to take you over to my castle. And again, I'm going through all this really fast because I may do some guides. I'm taking requests for guides. Whatever you'd like. I'm going to try to show you guys a lot of what I got. So now over here I planned this out a little bit better. It's not perfect, but I've got my reactor over here. This one is set up very different from the other one I have. As you can see the yellow streaks here. I don't have Manny-Lauren right next to the edge of the reactor because I was having issues. You can see this one here. I don't know if you noticed, the other one was running very hot, but this one ran a little bit cold. And I want the reactor casing to be hotter. I actually tested this myself, but the hotter it is, the more energy we're producing. However, over here, if this is too hot, you're burning your fuel up really fast. So I wanted to try to keep that balance, and I didn't want this to be too cool. So I have the reactor cores with the Elorium visible here, right at the edge of the reactor. So this is a quite large reactor, but it is not my only source of power here. So I want to get into one of my other... Oops! How, elevator? How'd you take me up all those floors but not here? One of my other sources of power, and that is these solar panels. So I've gotten my solar panels all the way up to Draconic. I only have 2. But as you can see, they are producing a ton of power during the day. So I do intend to at some point make a few more of these, get my power up even higher. Now there are some solar mods that you can put in, but I've tried all of them and I can't put any of them into these Draconic reactors. I don't know why. I'm probably missing something. This says 0% efficiency. I have no idea why. No, 100% if I click on it though. Okay. So. And I am using these because I have the Draconic fusion crafting going on up here. And you may only see 3 of these little power banks here holding power. But there's actually a whole bunch under the floor here. So you can see this is actually 3 levels high. So this middle area here, I have a bunch of these things underneath powering my Draconic fusion crafting stuff. So I'm going to back up and I'm going to show you my little castle here. So we've got a few things here. It's not finished. I haven't really finished it up at all. But you can see here, this gate, this purple stuff is just for decoration. But you'll see there's sort of a blue haze here. And what I have, this blue haze, is RF shielding. So you can see right here we have our shield projector. And it's set to allow players to pass, and animals it's solid for. And the reason was, as I'm sure you noticed, these guys up here, my dragons. And I did not want these guys escaping and falling off the world. When I was breeding them and trying to get all the dragon babies that there were out there, they kept wandering close to the door and scaring the hell out of me. And there's a dragon missing. Oh no, he's not. Okay. You guys scared me. Yeah. You scared me. I thought you'd fallen off. I was worried about you, water dragon. So yeah, I dabbled in dragon breeding. So when you defeat the Ender Dragon, you can pick up an Ender Dragon egg, and it will start hatching. So the way to pick it up is a little bit tricky. There's a couple of ways. You can use here a soul vial to pick up the egg. And the nice thing about using the soul vial is it stops the basically the cooldown on the egg. And so say you defeat the Ender Dragon, you got an egg, it's going to take an hour for it to finish. You don't want to deal with it for an hour because you want to go to bed or you have other things to do. You just use your soul vial on the egg and you scoop it up and worry about it later. Now there's also another method that I like to do, and that is, you can see here I have several eggs, is right in front of wherever you get the Ender Dragon egg. Actually, you know what? Let me just go show you. Let's go have some fun, right? So let's go ahead and head back to my main town. Might as well just show you. Alright, and I need... what are these things called? I can never remember what they're called. Let's just check. And crystals. I know I need more glass panes, but I was out of glass, so let's do this. Throw that sand away. And let's make a couple more of these. So I'm just going to go ahead and make 4. Put them on my bar. And then I'm going to go ahead and head to the end. So here's our cake. And I got tired of replacing it with eyes, so again I used this draconic dislocator to set up a portal to the end. So that works pretty nicely. Ah, yes. Okay, so you see I have it here. I didn't pick it up from the last time. You set up a piston right in front of this egg, and you can pull the lever, and it'll make the egg pick upable without it starting the cooldown for hatching. Because once that's started, you're kind of screwed. It's going to hatch. And there's a few things out there that you want to craft that require ender eggs. At least there is for me. And that would be those solar panels. So I don't always want those eggs to hatch. So let's go ahead. And for the fun of it, we're going to kill a dragon. I'm going to show you how that works. And then I'll head back home. Night vision on. Oops. Where's the cage? There we go. Go ahead and get these out of the way. Oh man, that dragon is so loud, I'm sorry. I know I can do enough damage that I don't really need to destroy these. It just goes faster, so. Or maybe it doesn't. Maybe it would go faster if I just straight up attack the dragon. Yeah, you saw. I missed there a lot. Let's see. This bow is so ridiculous in damage. Look at this. Ah. So there's our dragon heart. And I kind of hate this. You see where he is now? He likes to go down there. Sorry, it's really loud. I'll wait till it's done. He likes to go down there and explode. Which is kind of a pain in the butt because I tried to set up a refined storage area down here and tried to do my RF shield and he blew that up. So it was a really dumb place to put it. But let's come over here. And he didn't blow up my refined storage for once, so I can use this interdimensionally. Thank you. But let's go ahead and place our... Wait, no, it's just really dark. So we place our piston. We use our engineer's hammer to flip it around the right direction. The lever. Boop. And now we pick up an egg that isn't going to start hatching. Okay, you know what, Enderman? Seriously. And I'm just going to pick that up and put that back in my refined storage for next time. So, yes, I can still get in the portal. So yeah, you can see it actually blew up the shield. I was really surprised by that. I thought that was going to be my way of dealing with it, but I was very wrong on that. So, let's go ahead, head back to my base. Come upstairs again. Come on. Really? This is problematic. I'm wearing a what is this? A draconic chest plate, so it gives me the power of creative flight versus a jetpack, and it's not easy to toggle on and off. If there's a button to toggle it on and off, I haven't managed to find it. So I'm always just kind of floating. But you can see I got my babies here, and I've got one of each type, and they were kind of a pain in the butt to get. So I had to do different things to transform the hatching egg into these different types of dragons. They're just going to hang out. Now, if you're dealing with dragons too, I recommend having a capture wand versus the net, because once you got a saddle on them and you have a net and you try right-clicking on them, you're just going to mount them. You're not going to pick them up. But with this, left-click picks up the animals, and then you can right-click to place it down. So you can move your dragons around a little bit easier if you have more than one. Oh, there's already one in the wand. There it is. There you go. Aren't you guys pretty? Y'all are just clumped together, aren't you? But anyway, yeah, these guys are noisy, so you'll see I keep these sound mufflers usually in place, but I got a little annoyed the other day because I made a jukebox down here and I couldn't get it to work, and I was like, why is this not working? Oh yeah, sound mufflers, I can't hear anything. So this jukebox does work, it's just for decoration, but it doesn't have a randomizing element to it. So I've got this mechanical user I set up here. It's got a random slot. I've got the discs of music I like. I've got an advanced item collector here with filters for those discs. And I push the button. Watch it not do it. Okay. Might have to clear it first. There we go. And now it plays music. And it plays a random disc. So it's kind of nice when I'm down here working. I like it. There we go. Night vision back on. So it's actually pretty dark down here. I've lit it up a little bit better than it was lit up. Need to place my redstone torches real quick. But it actually doesn't matter with what I used as the floor. This is water stone. And it can be pitch black down here, and it won't make a speck of difference because of the water stone. Which is pretty cool, because I kind of like this bit dark down here. But yeah, it can be a pain. You see there, I got a little bit more lit. Turn these on. And this is the refined storage system. This is what I want to talk about a little bit later. But that will probably be another video. And over here we have our atomic reconstructor, and we have a dropper that will drop items. You can see I got a relay here. Flip it on and off. Don't have anything that's being dropped at the moment. But then over here I have a mechanical user setup with 15 speed upgrades. And you can see what's inside. These are bottles of enchanting. And I just stand under it after I flip the switch. And look at that. That's another good method of getting experience. So these bottles are super easy for me to make because I have experience essence in here. So let's see, where is it? Here it is. So I think it's... Is it this? No, I think it's... Oh, it is. Okay. So that gives me 12 bottles of enchanting. And I can just make a ton. And whenever I need experience, can pull that lever, and I'm good to go. So, alright, I'm going to go back up and show you the next floor after the dragons. Actually, I'm going to come all the way back up here. So this is my Cloche floor. And I have one of every cloche minus one. And that's the basalt, or no, not basalt. Let me look. Yeah, basalt? I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce it. Don't ask me. I don't have a cloche for this because if you look at the seed, you can see... Oh, see, this can be chiseled. Why couldn't I chisel it earlier? It's annoying. Right here, it needs basalt, raw. So you'd think, okay, it's going to work, no problem. But for whatever reason, this basalt that you get from Environmental Tech, which is coming from, what is this mining thing over here? I didn't set this up, so I don't know what it's called. Yeah, here we go. This guy here, the Void Resource Miner. For some reason, it's not working. Now, the marble worked just fine, but that does not want to work with the seeds. So I couldn't make a seed with that for the cloche. So that's the only one I'm not missing. Come on. Seriously, this is normal. Just fighting with this thing. Let me up! So I set all of these up, I labeled them all, and I put switches on it. So the cloche is a little bit weird in that you can see right here there's a slot to export the items from the cloche. And this is the only slot on it that actually works for exporting items, this one right here on the front. I've tried every which way to get it to work, but this is the only one that works. Right here, front side. When you place it down, this is the front. And it won't export to transfer pipes, it won't export to the refined storage cables, it won't export to directly to, I should say on all these, the Ender IOs. It has to go into a chest first, which is kind of a pain in the butt. And then from the chest you can use whatever your preferred transfer system is to export all of this. I love the refined storage system, so I use the refined storage and I send everything into my computer. You can see some of these cables look a little messy. It was just sort of the direction I had to face some of these in order to get everything hooked in and out. But I've got, I think it's 70 different materials. I think there's 71 total if I had gotten the basalt to work, but I have not. Now, there is one utterly useless essence, and that is black quartz. I still have it set up at the moment, but I don't run it. I have a ton of black quartz essence, and it does nothing. It's broken. Whoever set that up somehow forgot to make the essence make black quartz. So that is the other item I can't get at the moment from the cloches. That is something I would have to get from other means. So you can see here I've got all kinds of wonderful stuff. Stuff that's a pain in the butt to make normally. Conductive iron, pulsating iron, vibrant alloy, energetic alloy. Just all of this great stuff right in here. Just going to kind of go down here. The blaze essence can be used to make blaze rods. And then of course you can make blaze powder from there. These guardian seeds. If you're going to do a dragon, I recommend having guardian seeds first because they can be used to make prismarine, but they can also be used to make endless fish, which is a pain if you're taming dragons. So let's go ahead and type in guardian essence. So let's show you what it can make. So here you go. Raw fish. Endless fish. And of course prismarine shards and prismarine crystal. So it is wonderful. But again, so this is all very, very, very expensive with the essences. I would say, again, that you need to get just a plain old Inferium essence going and then worry about getting the other stuff set up. So we've got lots and lots and lots of stuff here. And like I said, they have a slot for the box that exports all your goodies. On the back side, or on the bottom underneath, you need water going into these, because they do all have water tanks to grow the seeds. And they do need power, and the power is on the top here. As you can see, I've got my power hooked up on the top of these guys. And then I'll show you a little bit of what I'm doing down below. So down here, the seeds are a pain in the butt, so there's two different things you can do with them. I have these seed reprocessors that will take seeds from the cloches and will reprocess it straight to the essence. So you can see here, just now this one took in a draconium seed. You can't see the seed for whatever reason. And it's going to turn it into essence for me. So that's a way to not waste your materials. Now these guys weren't working fast enough processing all those seeds. So I ended up doing my beautiful trash chests here and throwing out a lot of my seeds that way. Now I do have a stack of seeds for everything stored elsewhere, so I'm not going to have to worry about not having enough seeds. Now over in here, I have my fluid tanks hooked up. You can see they're all hooked up together. At the bottom of the cloche, they're set with their, if you pull up their configuration here, to push water into the cloche from the top side. And they're pulling from right here. I'm using the refined storage and exporting fluids, water, into these guys. It takes a while to get the tanks filled, but once they're full, the cloches really don't use that much water, so there's not much to worry about. And we're going to head back down. And I'm actually not producing water at the moment, but if I needed to, it would be super easy to do, because I have tons of water essence. But you can see I've got a lot of water stored here in my computer. And that's where everything's coming from. So, alright. And just show you, I'm going to go into more detail on this when I talk about the Ender IO system, or sorry, refined storage system. I've got lots of different crafting systems set up here. And you can see there's power running to everything. All of these things need power. So I've got, you know, several furnaces, 3 furnaces, 2 alloy smelters, 2 sag mills, a double crusher, a slice and splice, a soul binder, and a vat. And you can see back here we got our cables feeding in and out items, and then we've got some relays over here. They can be switched off. So say I need to make a lot of glass, and I figure I'm probably going to need tons and tons of glass, but I'm not exactly sure how much. I can flip the switch if I just want to pause it, and the items won't come through this relay and feed into my furnace. So turn that on and off, and that's very nice. And over here I have my second attempt at a rainbow bacon maker. My first is much more low-tech. I really like it, but this guy produces tons of rainbow bacon. Sorry, epic bacon. See, I've got 6.2k rainbow bacon, and I went ahead and turned it off because it was just producing way too much stuff. Now I'm going to head through here to my next little area, and I haven't finished this one either. See, I haven't finished either castle. It's terrible. I keep getting distracted. But I have blood magic, so I decided to build this its own little castle because it is so huge. This is actually only up to tier 5, but this right here, you can see, is part of my blood altar sticking through the floor. The rest of my blood altar is up here. I have it sort of lowered down. That wasn't intentional. Originally, it was supposed to be right at this level here, but then I realized, oh crap, it's too far away from the incense altar. So I had to lower the floor, but I actually don't mind it so much. So yeah, all of this random looking material and things, this is not actually very random. It is for the incense altar here, which if I have my... don't know what I did. No. Oh, there, it's in my inventory. My divination sigil here will show you my tranquility and the bonus. That 300% actually means something. That means every time I sacrifice blood to fill my blood altar, I actually get more bang for my buck. So, can't really see it now because I think this thing is full. Let's see. Yeah, it's full. So let me just maybe pull this guy out and pray I don't get wheezy. Let's see. Wheezy. Queasy. Good lord. I speak English. So I've got a little bit of automation here with this mechanical user and a timer and a box transferring items out. So it should be... I need redstone on. There we go. It should be producing these stones for me. And I have filters here. I have a filter for each type of thing I need. So right now, the last thing I needed was these lovely green slates. So it is producing lovely green slates, but I don't think I'm going to manage to run this out before for a while. So I'm going to go ahead and put these away and turn this back to that. But it's when I sacrifice myself, I get about 30,000, a little bit over 30,000. And that's because of these self-sacrifice runes and my beautiful blood altar, or my incense altar. But anyway, yeah, so I started building a castle around it because this all looks like crap. These are some different rituals. Show you what the one does. Just need some soul jars. So for some reason, even though I have this chunk loaded, every time I log out or go over to the main base, my little guys disappear. So I have to respawn them, but I have a spawner set to fill soul vials full of zombie villagers. So I just keep a few on hand. Now, there is a ritual of healing that you could use to heal these guys up. I got lazy, and plus this is starting to look like crap with all these rituals around, and I just don't want to deal with it. So what I did instead was I used graveyard dirt to keep these guys healed up, and it works just as well. Come on. There we go. Nope. Not gonna let me fit any more in. That's fine. And what they're doing here is filling up my blood altar. You can see it was a little bit down, and it's almost back up there. So I have some more of these rune stones of sacrifice, which means their blood actually does more. And because I do get queasy sometimes if I'm producing a lot of rune stones and or sigils, whatever they're called, and I'm running low on blood because these are pulling blood from me. It makes me nauseous. So there's a switch on the top of these where I can toggle them on and off. And I can just toggle them off if I'm building or some other thing. And then up here we have 2 more rituals. This one, I'm not even sure if it's properly feeding because it's so far above the blood altar, but this is, I believe it is a ritual of Forsaken Souls, which helps crystals grow here. So the one below it is the ritual of the, is it fractured crystal? Cracked crystal? Let's see. Crack of the fractured crystal. There we go. So when these guys grow, it cuts a chunk off and puts it into this box, which feeds it back into this thing. So it's basically an endless loop, which I seem to be out of them at the moment. I have no idea why, and I don't know where my lovely Greater Soul Gem went. Oh, no, I do. I know where it is. I left it in here. So I have a Greater Tatteric... Tatteric? Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I'm going to pronounce a lot of things wrong. Gem that I fill up with these lovely little demon wills. You can see if I pull it up in the computer, demonic wills. I've got a ton of them from those sentient swords that I had in that automatic user, or excuse me, mechanical user, next to the wither spawner. And it's been producing them. It's chunk loaded, so it runs even when I'm offline. And I pull this little lever, and it starts feeding them into my Greater Soul Gem here. You can see it going up slowly. Now I've got speed upgrades in this, so it's going a little bit faster than some of these things, but it's still pretty darn slow. But it's very slowly feeding me demonic will. So usually I make sure I'm full on food and I go AFK and just let it fill my gem up. But yeah, so let me turn that off. There we go. This was just sort of a brief tour of some of the stuff I've got in here. I probably missed showing you a lot of stuff. I've got a lot of spawners. This is, of course, the Draconic Fusion Crafting that I've got set up here. And, yeah. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you'd like to see something, let me know. Anyway, thank you for watching. Bye-bye now. All right, I have to do this button. Anyway, bye-bye now.